Imagine a land stretching from endless forests to wide deserts, from icy mountains to rivers so huge they looked like oceans. Long before it was called America, it was home to millions of people, native nations with cities, trade routes, and traditions thousands of years old. The Pueblo built cliff dwellings that still stand today. The Mississippians built massive earthen mounds, some larger than Egypt's pyramids. And the Iroquois created a political system, the Great Law of Peace, that would later inspire parts of the U.S. Constitution. Then, in 1492, ships crossed from Europe. Columbus arrived in the Caribbean, and soon explorers, traders, and colonizers followed. By the 1600s, Britain, France, Spain, and the Dutch were carving pieces of this new land. The English pilgrims landed at Plymouth in 1620, and with the help of native allies, they survived those first brutal winters. But colonization wasn't only survival, it was conflict, disease, and wars that reshaped the continent forever. Millions of indigenous lives were lost, and their worlds transformed. By the mid-1700s, 13 English colonies stretched along the East Coast. Taxes, trade restrictions, and a growing sense of independence led to rebellion. In 1776, a group of men in Philadelphia wrote the Declaration of Independence, declaring America free from Britain. It was risky. Signing that paper meant death if they lost, but against all odds, after years of bloody battles, the colonies won. The world watched as a new nation was born, the United States of America. Here's something most people don't know. After independence, America almost fell apart. The early government was weak, states argued constantly, and money was worthless. That's why, in 1787, leaders met in secret in Philadelphia to write a stronger constitution. It created a system of checks and balances with a president, Congress, and courts. And in 1789, George Washington became the first president. But freedom wasn't equal. Slavery continued. Women couldn't vote, and native nations were pushed off their lands. By the 1800s, America began expanding westward. The Louisiana Purchase doubled the nation's size overnight. The gold rush sent thousands rushing west. Railroads stitched the country together, but expansion brought conflict. Native peoples forced onto reservations, and a bitter divide between free and slave states. That divide exploded in 1861 with the Civil War. The Union fought to preserve the nation, while the Confederacy fought to keep slavery. Over 600,000 lives were lost, the deadliest war in American history. In the end, the Union won, slavery was abolished, and Abraham Lincoln became a symbol of freedom. But Reconstruction was messy, and equality was still far away. The late 1800s and early 1900s turned America into an industrial giant. Immigrants poured in through Ellis Island. Factories roared, skyscrapers rose, and cities like New York and Chicago became powerhouses. Yet poverty, child labor, and corruption grew too. By 1929, the stock market crashed, plunging the nation into the Great Depression. Bread lines stretched through cities, and hope ran thin. Then came World War II. After the attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, America joined the fight. Soldiers landed on beaches in Europe and the Pacific. Industries transformed into war machines, and by 1945, the U.S. emerged not just as a victor, but as a global superpower. A new era had begun. A Cold War followed nuclear tension with the Soviet Union, the space race, the Cuban Missile Crisis. At the same time, at home, another revolution was growing. The Civil Rights Movement fought segregation and racism. Martin Luther King Jr.'s "I Have a Dream" speech in 1963 echoed like a promise. Women fought for equal rights, and protests against the Vietnam War shook the nation. By the late 20th century, America was shaping culture worldwide. Hollywood movies, rock and roll, fast food, the moon landing. And in the 1990s, the internet was born on American soil, transforming the world yet again. Today, the United States is a country of contradictions, freedom and struggle, innovation and inequality, unity and division. But at its core, the story of America has always been about reinvention. So when you think of the U.S., don't just picture the flag or the skyline of New York. That's the real quick history of American unfinished story still being written today.